My name's Hans. I'm a resident at Palm Cove, having lived here permanently for the last 2 years. I've been a visitor to Palm Cove for well over 15 years and a former CEO in the club industry in New South Wales for over 30 years, finalising my stint in that industry as the group CEO of a large leagues club group in New South Wales some 3 years ago. I'm also a former Federal and State Secretary of the Club Managers Association, having looked after the education and industrial rights of over 2,000 club managers across Australia, and I'm also a former Poker Machine Council of Australia member. So I feel that I'm qualified to be able to speak about the positives and negatives of the aqueous resort development being proposed at present at Yorkeys Knob. As part of my career, the last two clubs that I was in, one was Western Suburbs Leagues Club Illawarra down in the Wollongong area in New South Wales. I took over just before the receivers were about to step in the door, 120 employees, 12.8 million in debt, and now it is one of the most successful clubs in not only the Wollongong area but also in New South Wales. The last job slightly before retirement was with the Norse Leagues Club Group, which had a large registered club head office at Camaray and a bowling club at Camaray, and also at Seagulls at the Tweed was one of the clubs at the group that was struggling, and I was headhunted to take over that particular club to clean up a number of financial and operational difficulties within the group, and I did so very successfully, and my predecessor has been maintaining that effort ever since. So I'm very happy to A, have been associated with the industry, and B, to know that I've been able to contribute and to put so many young kids back onto playing fields that might not have been, sponsoring just at the Norse group, over 52 junior teams. Where do people like Benji Marshall go for a job at the end of the day if leagues clubs don't continue to sponsor from gaming taxation and company taxation that particular ability? So all in all, I think the club industry, the taxation system works extremely well for charity, for sport, and for the community in general. For young and older Australians in this area, we have a very high unemployment rate in the Cairns district, and I'm sure that many of those people will find themselves, with the proper training, back in to the workforce, or initially gaining employment for the first time in this industry. A huge opportunity for this area, a huge opportunity for JCU in the areas of language schools, in the areas of running particular management courses that are associated with tourism, with gaming, with bar and beverage. There are a multitude of opportunities that can be realised from this, and there aren't too many places across Australia that wouldn't welcome what is being hailed for our doorstep in this area, and hence I have to naturally support that. I have a daughter who is a chartered accountant in Sydney, and she assisted with her own living expenses and her education expenses by being a part-time employee in the club industry. And I'm sure even in Cairns this happens with the likes of Brothers and Gazales, and this is a further opportunity of much greater magnitude that we can be involved in as Cairns and District that I welcome. We also have infrastructure which will ultimately come to this area, which will be unparalleled across this state and Australia, based on the fact that, you know, we have a council that's going to be working for us that will make sure that infrastructure of the future that has been budgeted for can come into plans a lot earlier with this development at Yorkeys Nog. And that means that ultimately our taxes are going to be less as a result, because they will be passed on to the developer and owner of this resort. From an environmental perspective, everyone today is environmentally conscious. There are going to be a number of negatives associated with this development. There is no doubt about that. But I think what we've got to do is we've got to outweigh those negatives with positives, and we've got to come to the table on those negatives and satisfy those concerned that have those negatives. And if we can do that, we can all benefit from this mammoth development which is being proposed. And there are more benefits, in my opinion, given than there are negatives. So, you know, I encourage people to sit down with their problem. Once this development is complete, it is estimated that we'll probably receive an extra 20,000 visitors into the area per week. In other words, 1 million per annum. It doesn't take much to add up what sort of benefits this will bring to the Cairns and Port Douglas district area. I mean, there wouldn't be a current business here that isn't going to benefit from this development sometime, either during its construction or when it is completed. So, you know, we can look forward to a very, very prosperous future in this area as a result of a forthcoming approval for this venture to become a reality. Yeah, as a result of Senator Xenophon's responsible gaming approach and the club and casino industry across Australia, you know, we have a number of policies in place that will stand us in good stead as we move towards this development and its conclusion. One thing that we must all be reminded of is that between 1% and 2% of all gamblers, or gamers you may wish to call them, have a problem which requires intervention. That leaves, you know, 98% of all other Australians that wish to use recreational gaming or leisure gaming in a position where they can choose when they want to invest what they want to at any stage. So the concerns of Mr. Xenophon may well have been a very legitimate concern some 10 or 15 years ago. They no longer are the concern that they should be with this particular development. Well, in summary, I believe that you realise that I'm totally for the project, and in saying that, I've had a number of discussions with friends, business associates and the community from Cairns through to Port Douglas, people that I know, and look, it's a 99% no-brainer. So, you know, I hope that you, as a resident or non-resident of this area, get behind this project like I am, and that we see it to fruition. Thank you for listening.